Thursday, Fumble fans. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. We have a lot to get into today. We've got some news about LAVAR, some news about the NBA, and coronavirus. We're talking about a lot of stuff, but before we do all that, make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad, you guys. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward. Chris?
It's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K.
Hey everybody, it's Jackie Ray. You can find me everywhere at JRay. Where's the enthusiasm, Chris? Get it together.
It's super tall, Britt Johnson today. I look really tall. I am Britt Johnson. And also we want to say happy birthday to Tamir Rice. He would have been 18 years old today. He also would have been graduating with the class of 2020, but unfortunately he was murdered. So we want to wish him a happy birthday up in heaven.
Yeah, happy birthday to Tamir Rice. You guys send your birthday wishes in the chat, and if you have an opportunity to do some sort of like celebration, I know we have some things going on in LA today, you should definitely go do that. All right, let's just jump right in with the news. There's a really bad echo right now. I don't know if anybody else can hear that.
Yeah, I thought it was my computer.
Yeah, I hear it too.
I always assume it's just me if you guys don't say anything, and I'm like, oh.
Because I don't hear anything, so maybe it's me.
Well, I'll try and ignore it and just jump into the first story, but sorry if I seem a little disoriented. We need to talk about LAVAR Ball and what he said about LAMELO going to the Warriors. He typically will spend his time speaking things into existence, but this time he is speaking things out of existence. He does not want LAMELO to be drafted by the Warriors. On the Say Less podcast, he explained why he doesn't think LAMELO would be a good fit on the Warriors, and it's all because of Steph and Clay. He said, quote, "That's the part I don't like about Golden State. They got Clay and the other guys, and now you want to put Melo in that mix and say you got to follow these guys. Melo ain't no follower. He don't need to do what they do. Let them do their thing." LAVAR also went on to say that he thinks Melo is too talented to be on a team that wouldn't have him starting or getting good minutes for the first few seasons. He wants LaMelo to be like the hero rookie that we saw Ja Morant become for the Grizzlies, and that wouldn't really be possible on the Warriors because they do have these two superstars leading the team. That being said, I think it's a little foolish to disregard the knowledge that he could gain from playing with veteran teammates. Luckily for LAVAR, though, the Warriors and LaMelo rumors have sort of dwindled down over the last few months, so I don't think he really needs to worry about LaMelo going there. So, Chris, I want to go with you on this one. Does LaMelo have what it takes to be that hero rookie that LAVAR wants him to be?
Oh, I think so. I don't see the lie in what LAVAR Ball said. I know just because it's LAVAR Ball, people are like, oh, here he goes again. I don't see the lie. I mean, I think that would be the case for any other starting point guard in any draft that is going to be going to a team like that. I mean, yeah, in theory, of course, it'd be great to go there and be behind, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. But imagine Ja Morant getting drafted by the Warriors, then he's coming off the bench. Like, how's that going to work? So, yeah, I completely agree with LAVAR Ball and what he's saying about that. And yeah, I do think that LaMelo has the potential to go to a team and be a great player from the jump, starting somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know you're all hoping that he goes to the Knicks, that he can be that player for you guys. So
I was going to say it, but come on down, please.
We'll see what happens. Jackie, I want to go to you. Do you think LAVAR is too quick to undervalue the knowledge LaMelo could get from NBA vets, or do you see where he's coming from?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because of the picture that Britt sent me on Instagram last night that I'm just trying to be a roommate in the house now, or or if it's
over here.
Right, yeah, me, Chris, and Britt about to all be in the same house. You're right. But but no, I don't. I totally agree with what he's saying. I think he doesn't need to be in a situation where he's going to be overshadowed tremendously. I think he needs to be in a situation where he can shine. And like I've said before, he already has an advantage because technically now his brother is a vet. So I don't think he needs to necessarily be in that situation where his shine can be a little, dimmer. So like I said, I don't know if it's me trying to get in the house now or what, but I'm low-key agreeing with LAVAR on this one. Still could have said it different, but yeah, I'm agreeing with LAVAR on this one.
Okay, so Britt, based on what Jackie said about you guys all becoming roommates with Chris and LAVAR, I need to know, do you think that this is a situation where he should have said less, or is he making a valid point?
Well, first, really quick, Chris, Ja would have not been on the bench with the Warriors because you saw the Warriors this year. He would have been starting.
Well, yeah,
So,
you're right. That's true. But future reference.
Yeah.
Future reference.
For
Right,
the Golden
right.
State Warriors. Secondly, I think he does have a very valid point here because name some young guys that came from the Warriors that are doing great right now. You really can't. I don't think Steph and Clay are the guys that are leaders that create more leaders. They just haven't done that. Like, it's literally they've been them, and when they're not on the court, you don't see much else going on. So unfortunately, yes, they are great players themselves, but not every great player creates more great players, and I don't think those two guys do that. So I don't think it would be a valuable place for him to go and then have to be a backup to these guys, because I don't think he's going to learn very much from them, because they haven't, as shown, they haven't really taught anybody else anything either. So I think it's better that he does go somewhere else where he can either go to a place where he does have somebody he can learn from, or come to a place where he's just going to be the leader, and hopefully it turns into a Ja situation where he is running the team and you don't even really know anybody else on the squad and the team is still a contender. So we'll see. But the Warriors, I mean, they could possibly still get him. Obviously, the NBA works in a sense where they just draft who the best player is. Lottery is August 25th. The draft, I think, is October 16th. So we'll see what comes out of it.
Yeah, you make a good point. I mean, when you have Steph and Clay at the helm of a team, it's nothing else really matters beyond, or not nothing else really matters, but they definitely take the spotlight away from anybody else. So that is a good point. And I do think that LaMelo could make a big impact on a team if he's given that chance to play and not be on the bench. Let's move on. Some more NBA news. Well, the league began testing players on Tuesday before they head to Orlando for their training camps, and they've already gotten a number of positive results. Nikola Jokic, Malcolm Brogdon, 2 unnamed players on the Suns, and now 3 Kings players, Buddy Hield, Jabari Parker, and Alex Len. Jabari announced his positive test results, saying, quote, "Several days ago, I tested positive for COVID-19 and immediately self-isolated in Chicago, which is where I remain. I am progressing in my recovery and feeling well. I look forward to joining my teammates in Orlando as we return to the court for the resumption of the NBA season." So he's still going to be there. Luckily, none of the athletes who have been diagnosed with coronavirus seem to be suffering from any very bad symptoms. But it is kind of a shocking reminder that we are still very much in the middle of a pandemic, and going into this NBA bubble, though they're trying to keep it as safe and secure as possible, it could be kind of risky. So there are obviously concerns about restarting the season. They're mounting right now. And even though these positive results are expected, I think there are a lot of people who are second guessing the whole plan. And the effects of the virus on the respiratory system can be pretty long lasting. So the health of the players could be impacted more than we realize. So Britt, do you feel that these new positive results and their potential long-term effects does this make you question the NBA bubble, or do you still feel like it should be full steam ahead?
I think we're going with it. Adam Silver said when he first announced all of this stuff that if we test positive, and there are going to be players that test positive or whatever happens, we have to know that we're at a point now that the season's going to continue. So it's already like that's what they decided to do. Adam Silver was very clear about that statement, and I think it's good. I mean, obviously, I'm not a player. I don't have whatever. I don't have to be in the situation with whatever. But a lot of people already go to work and already do everything. Everything's back open. So NBA should be back open too. People are going to test positive. They're going to be actually in the safest situation that anybody else is in that's in this world working right now for pennies to what the NBA players are making. So season needs to start. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't feel like that bad for them, and I feel like they're being put in the safest situation than all us regular day people are anyway. So I just feel like the season it's already at this point. Adam Silver said we were going to get positive tests, and that's the end of it.
Mm-hmm. Jackie, for this next question, I want to ask you, if this NBA bubble thing ends up being a disaster for whatever reason, I'm not saying that it will be, but if it does end up just not turning out well, who do you think is going to be suffering the most? Is it going to be the players, the owners, the fans? What will be the effects of that kind of situation?
I mean, I think we all suffer in that situation. Just because as fans, we're looking forward to it. Some of us have talked ourselves into, looking forward to it. Sometimes with me, with the coming back, I'm on the fence. I've been on the fence for a long time. I'm starting to get to the point now where I kind of view it as a relationship. If it's this hard, it's just not supposed to happen. But I think we all would suffer, because now it becomes a thing. As a country, I do think we opened up too early. I think if we start seeing, these athletes suffer in a way that I think probably the average everyday Joe is already suffering, then it just kind of brings it to the forefront. I think, especially these athletes that have said that they don't want to move forward. If they move forward and then test positive, there's going to be some animosity there. So I think we all suffer in some way. We're not going to get the playoffs that we really want to see. Players are, and like you said, that's been my biggest concern about this the whole time. Like, if you do test positive, even if you are asymptomatic, what are the long-term effects of that? How does that impact your body, years from now? And we just don't know that. So, and then are we going to see players that 5 years from now all of a sudden have a respiratory problem that they wouldn't have had they not, contracted this virus? So there's just a lot of questions around this situation that I think that in the end, if it's a disaster, then we all lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a very good point. So, Chris, there's obviously a lot of uncertainty here, and The Athletic conducted an anonymous poll of NBA GMs, and a lot of them were saying how they feel very, very concerned about bringing the season back in this pandemic. What do you have to say about that?
I mean, I get it. Yeah, like Jackie just said, I'm sure there's a lot of those people up there that are probably on the fence the same way, But at the same time, Adam Silver said it perfectly. Like, we're going to be finding out that people are going to test positive, because everyone is going to be getting tested, and there's going to be people that are going to be asymptomatic and going to test positive. So, I mean, it comes down to, if you want to continue with the bubble idea, like we're going to, and, be confident with that and go forward with it. Hopefully the bubble works where, it won't spread or turn into more cases coming out, then you got to go forward with that. I get it. It's just got to be a thing where you make the decision or you don't make the decision. And here we are, July 30th. We're supposed to be having games played. So we're just going to have to see how this goes going through July to October.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To be clear, guys, all these players that have been testing positive haven't been playing basketball. So they've just been living their regular life. This has nothing to do with their job. They've been testing positive, just going to the grocery store, whatever the case is. Right. I feel like the bubble is the safest place to be. Like, hello, put me in a bubble with a bunch of video games and ping pong tables and food delivered to my room every day. Like, that to me is the safest place for these players, because they've been testing positive and they're not playing right now.
They just have to make sure to keep it that safe place and not be sneaking in the side chick like we've talked about. People, someone's going to find a way around that. So if it's going to work, they have to all follow the protocols and the rules very closely. You guys, that wraps up the news. It was a short one today. So, Chris, can you take us into the world of social media?
Yes. It is time for the post up with your boy Chris, quarantine edition, and I've got to start off with one I don't want to start off with, but I must. We talked about it. It was actually one of the last games played in the league. It was when my Knicks played against the Hawks, and we talked about it potentially being the last game for the great Vince Carter, and that's it. He's confirmed it. He went on a podcast to let it be known. It was the Winging It podcast where he said straight up that this is it. He's done with basketball. I'm officially done playing basketball professionally. And it's just like, damn, we already knew, we talked about it on Post a few weeks ago, but now we're hearing it from his mouth, and it hurts just a little bit more, because it's like, oh, maybe. But Britt said it, and, I'm co-signing. I mean, if it comes back, possibly we could probably see him at the Big Three. I don't know if that counts as professional basketball, Vince Carter. Is that a loophole? Because I know you said you're done playing basketball professionally. Does that count? So I don't know. So hopefully we'll still get to see him playing some basketball if Big Three comes back. But, yeah, that's it. VC is officially retired after still playing pretty solid basketball in his last season. So shout out to him, shout out to the career, and we'll see what is next for him. Whether it be announcing, whether it be laying back, or whether it be the big three. We'll see what happens next with Vince Carter. Now, this next one. Normally, whenever we talk about Ben Simmons' sister Liv, I tend to not really hear it too much, or not really. I don't know. I'm not a fan of her crazy rant sometimes on social media. But I gotta tell you this one where she's out here trying to hold out her brother. I gotta say I co-sign it. I think it's a pretty good idea, and I think it's kind of funny. So she tweeted yesterday about a crazy idea that got some fans interestingly very excited. She put out a tweet saying, "Here's an idea: an OnlyFans account of my brother just shooting threes. Would you subscribe?" I saw this and I lost. I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, because what made it so funny to me is because of how smart it actually is, because there are some sickos out there that would probably put money into this OnlyFans account. And it's like, I know she's joking, but she should be serious at the same time, because she could probably make some money. Go on there and, make people pay whatever it is that you pay on OnlyFans to get to see him shoot that 3-point shot, add some music to it. Like, I think it'd be hilarious. And I think that there's a lot of sickos out there that'll pay for that, because we know unless something changes July 30th, we know we ain't going to be sitting in the NBA. So, I mean, that's a good way to make some money there. But, to even push that forward, yes, you see we got some gifs of some responses from people. This one was I don't know if it was serious or not, but he said, "She'll take my money." This dude had SpongeBob with a whole roll of cash. I thought it was great. I was all for it. I think it's hilarious, but we'll see. That it's definitely not gonna happen. But good joke, Liv. Haha, you gotta laugh out of me. Moving on to this next one. We were talking about the Warriors just now, and we actually have Matt Barnes out here talking about Steph Curry, who owes him some smoke. And I don't mean on the court or on the streets. I mean, he means literally. Like, Matt Barnes is saying that Steph Curry is supposed to smoke with them, and he's not the only player that he's played with that owes him some ganja time. Now, the initial question was about Kobe Bryant, and asked if Kobe Bryant had ever smoked with them, and then he also outed Steph Curry, saying like, "Yo, you owe me." So here's a video from his interview on this podcast.
Ask this: do you think Kobe ever got high? I mean, you knew him personally. I
always asked him to, and he said if we won a championship, he would smoke with me.
Swear, he told you.
I promise you.
Wow.
I was always on him. I was on him. I was on Steph Curry like that. Steph Curry owes me a smoke. Actually, I haven't collected that, but Steph, you owe me a smoke, because I told him. I was like, "Bro, if we win, would you smoke?" And he shook his head. So yeah, Steph Curry owes me a smoke.
Pay in, Steph Curry. We want to see it, man. We want to see it. Pay it up. Come on. I would love to see that. Let's have a conversation.
Random drug tests.
Right.
He's not playing.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Warriors are sitting home. They ain't doing nothing. So go ahead. Go on in. Go. Let's see this conversation. You're going to be sitting up on this couch.
Steph Curry high, though? I don't know. I don't know.
But that's the thing. Like, don't you want to? I want to know. Like, I want to know what's going to come up. Is there a real Steph Curry that's going to come out and see all the truth come out? Or is this
right? All of a sudden, his voice is deep.
Steph Curry sound, yeah, right. All of a sudden, sounds smooth.
Girl,
like
stop looking for attention on the gram. Talk to his wife all crazy.
I want it. I want to see it. And if it happens, I don't want it to just be them chilling. Nah, I want to see it. So I think that's hilarious. So shout out to that part for letting us know that. Next, now, this next one to me is it's crazy, because I saw the initial tweet, I saw the initial picture, and I saw what this crazy person, I guess she was, all I saw is that she supports Magus, and that's all I need to see. Her name is Deanna Lorraine. She posted, I think we have the picture in it. Can we, she posted this picture of her iPhone charger, and if you look at the tippity top, there's a little bit of a loop, and she thought it was funny to tweet out saying that she found a noose in her home. Hilarious to nobody, because nobody thought it was funny, and nobody co-signed her joke, especially Myles Garrett, who responded to this actually leading to her deleting this tweet because I saw this tweet yesterday and I see Myles Garrett's response today, and the tweet was non-existent. It was gone. Like I said, because nobody thought it was a good joke and nobody thought it was funny because it's not. Myles Garrett responded to her saying, "This is all kinds of wrong. If you can't see the problem, you're part of it." Obviously, this is in response to the developments coming from the FBI with Bubba Wallace and the new situation over there in NASCAR. And yeah, it's not even it's people, man. I just don't understand the thought process. I'm all for dark humor, but there's no humor in this at all, like anywhere in it. Like I don't know. Miss me with this one. Myles Garrett coming out with this one, so shout out to that. I don't even want to give this any more time, but you know who we do need to give some more time? Tyler HERRO. I have officially dubbed Tyler HERRO the East Coast Kyle Kuzma. That's it. He's officially the East Coast Kyle Kuzma. You can't convince me otherwise, because the things that we talk about when it comes to Tyler HERRO is like they're very Kuzma-ish, okay? And that comes to this. Now we're talking about his new tattoos. Now, mind you, the tattoos are, I get it, because we've talked about, players that have decided to not join and play in Orlando. And, if you don't play, then you're not going to get paid. And that's exactly what his tattoos say. No work, no check. So he's claiming, it's a motivational thing. I get that. Some people are taking it as shade. All I know is the headlines that we talk about Tyler HERRO about, they're very Kyle Kuzma-ish, because it very rarely has to do with basketball, and it always has to do with some sort of we're talking about tattoos on his body. We talked about Kyle Kuzma's hair. We talked about Tyler HERRO dating Khalees, whatever her full name is, and we talked about Kuzma dating. So it's just it's all crazy to me that the headlines just match up too much. He's playing in South Beach, Kuz out here playing in LA. So I've officially dubbed Tyler HERRO the East Coast Kuzma. Or you can call, if for those who like Tyler HERRO better than Kuz, fine. Call Kuz the West Coast Tyler HERRO. Whatever you guys want to do, they are the same person on two different coasts. And I don't know what's going to happen if they ever come up on the same team, because then it's going to be memes galore. But yeah, so new tattoos, guys. And look at the mustache. Tyler HERRO, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what's going on there. Just quickly before I move on, Devin, I want to talk to you real quick. Do you see this? Because there's people that are thinking that these tattoos are considered shade. I mean, I get it, because there's players that are talking about not going back and not getting paid and rah rah rah. In any way, shape, or form, are you seeing these tattoos as any more than just tattoos on a basketball player's chest?
I don't really see it as shade. I think it's kind of a dumb tattoo. I wouldn't get it myself. Can't say I love it, but no, I don't think that he's going out and getting a tattoo to throw shade at anybody. But also, I do totally agree with you that he is the East Coast Kyle Kuzma.
East Coast Kyle Kuzma, yes. I'm telling you, the East Coast Kuz. That's Tyler HERRO for me from now on. So whenever we talk about Tyler HERRO, that's what we'll be calling him from now on. So congratulations on your nickname, Tyler HERRO. That's yours now. All right, and last but not least, oh my goodness, we gave so much attention to my boy J.R. Smith yesterday with the possibility of him joining the Los Angeles Lakers because Avery Bradley decided to not join the team in Orlando because of his family. To me, a complete understandable reason. And then we reported on the fact that, J.R. Smith, because Woj said that J.R. Smith is first up to possibly be the one signed by Los Angeles Lakers. It's not confirmed, but he's at the top of the list for the Lakers to possibly have him replace Avery Bradley. We all were excited about that. We all thought it was funny, but there's one person that saw this report and said, hold my beer. Y'all want J.R. Smith? How about me? And that's the one, the only, Swaggy P. Nick Young. Woj dropped his report about the Avery Bradley news, and Swaggy responded immediately saying, I'm ready. So Lakers, I've mentioned it here, Swaggy had one of his better seasons. He had his best season in his entire career when he played with the Lakers. So, I mean, look, if you just need a dude to go out there and play offense, why not, you just hear entertaining Pau Gasol and stuff like that. So go ahead and entertain Swaggy P. Let him come out there and just chuck up some shots. I got to go to the LeBron James / Laker fan, Jackie Ray. Now, you were just like me. You're about J.R. Smith joining the team. If you're okay seeing J.R. Smith and Dion Waiters on the same team, you obviously got to be all right seeing Swaggy P and Dion Waiters on the same team.
So at this point, you're just saying I'm okay with drama. Is that what you're saying? Like I just want drama. Because if that's what you're saying, I mean, you know me, I got time. So I mean, maybe I don't know. I've never been a big Swaggy P fan, but yeah. So I don't know. It would be fun to see, and if these quarantine playoffs end up like the way I think they're going to end up, then the drama would be welcomed because it'd probably be the most exciting thing. So I don't know. I've never liked Swaggy P though.
Yeah, he's been all right. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, he's like a poor man's J.R. Smith." That's an insult to J.R. Smith. I mean, Swaggy P was all right for when he was, but
if he's the poor man's J.R. Smith, why would you go the poor route when you can actually get the real J.R. Smith? That's
See, but the thing is that as much sense as that makes, this team still passed up on Carmelo Anthony to sign Jared Dudley. So I still have my beef when it comes to the Los Angeles Lakers. But and just last but not least, just for fun and kicks and giggles, I have to come to you, Britt, because I know I edited your video yesterday, so I know you are excited about J.R. Smith joining the Lakers for different reasons than us, because you know that might not be the greatest idea for that team. So I know, on top of that, you would probably be rolling out a red carpet to see Nick Young go and join the Lakers, wouldn't you?
Yeah, for sure. You're talking about offensively, Nick Young. Like the last 2 seasons he did play, last season he averaged 2.3 points. The season before that, he averaged 7.3 points. So I don't really feel like he's going to. And against my Clippers, bring it. I would love Nick Young join the Lakers. I actually want that even more than J.R. Smith. Let's do this. Come on.
Yeah.
Lakers.
I think J.R. Smith is going to surprise you.
They have been epic this year for making bad signings. So I wouldn't be surprised if they signed the worst possible player available right now.
I can't.
Man, if they sign JR gonna come out there with something to prove, though. It's not gonna be like y'all think. Y'all throwing shade at JR, but I'm telling you.
No. You know I'm about JR, but here's the thing: they already signed Dion Waiters. That's my problem with it. Now having both of them on the team, I don't know what's gonna happen with minutes. JR might play well, but at the same time, you're not filling in the Avery Bradley role because then now you have Dion Waiters.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Yeah. It's not really JR Smith. It's just the combination of both of them is my problem.
The drama of it all.
It's just like Beavis and Butthead on the same team.
There's people in the chat who don't even know who Beavis and Butthead are. So can we get a demonstration?
No, we doesn't need to give a demonstration. You put them on the same team, you'll get the demonstration all you need right there. I bet there's some put on the bench and everything. Oh my goodness. No, I don't think. Yeah, 2020 Beavis and Butthead. Oh my goodness. But yeah,
maybe they'll come together and they'll do the dance off. Remember how they used to do the little dance off at the couch at the end? Maybe they'll.
If they embrace it, goats. Like they just embrace it. Just go out there and completely embrace. Yes. Just completely go out there and embrace it. That would be hilarious. But that's gonna happen. Nick Young, enjoy chilling, bro. It ain't gonna happen.
Oh God. Devin, do you know who Beavis and Butthead are? You're looking real confused over there.
Jackie, my sister and I used to watch it. I do know.
Okay. Jackie? God.
No, there was that.
Yep.
That
That's right.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to figure out, are you done with the post-up? Are we ready to go into what we're not going to do, or do you have more for us?
No, I'm ready for you to lay those vocals down. That's what I'm ready for. Let's go ahead.
Lay the vocals down.
Thank you. We are speeding through it today, so I'll take my time with this one. Okay.
Oh, goodness.
Jackie, what we not gonna do.
We are still running, y'all. After the fade, she was still running. I wasn't ready. All right, guys. Welcome to What We Not Gonna Do, because today what I'm not gonna do is pretend that I have a solid opinion on this next topic, because I think that there was not any real malicious intent. But I think what we'll learn today is your intent does not impact the outcome. So that's a real lesson for all of us. But we're just going to get right into this one with West Virginia safety Kerry Martin Jr. He made a really, really long tweet on Tuesday. His caption says, "I've been contemplating about posting this, but we need a change in our program." And then, so it's long, guys. It's like a little mini essay that he wrote. So I'm just going to pick a few pieces from it. The first thing he said is, I myself have dealt with mistreatment and racism growing up in West Virginia, but never would have thought I would deal with that while at school, the school I'm supposed to be able to call home with my own position. Coach Vic Koenning, I always say his name wrong. He is the defensive coordinator for West Virginia. Some of the things he said in his post were, again, I don't know if they're just malicious or if Coach Vic just kind of knowing what he believes in and just being a little too vocal. Like Kerry Martin Jr. says that he makes quote comments about the Bible because he's definitely a Christian, and then he antagonized Derek Pitts for his beliefs, which I'm assuming were not Christian. And then he says in 2019, coaches were out doing some recruiting, and Kerry Martin said his old high school coach told him that Coach Vic had a slave master mentality. His high school coach happens to be white as well, but his high school coach didn't tell him why he thought that. He didn't tell him anything about the conversation. So it kind of leaves a lot to interpretation, and you're not getting the full extent of why he would say that. And fun fact, if you're going to say something like that, you need to back that up with details. Don't just throw that kind of terminology out there unless you are going to back it up. He also said that he made a mistake on the field and Coach Vic called him retarded, which struck a nerve with him because he says he has people who suffer from mental illness in his family, and he felt like that could have been addressed differently. So this next one kind of made me wonder if Kerry Martin should really be playing defense, because I thought this might be a little too sensitive, because he said during a camp again in 2019, after they finished a walkthrough, that Coach Vic told players, everyone get in the house and go upstairs to the meeting. And he said he felt that him saying that made him feel like the players were property. I don't know. I mean, I would love for y'all to meet my track coach, Mr. Annalini, because if that makes you sensitive and hurt your feelings, you never would have made it on my track team. But this next point I do find slightly offensive, because apparently Coach Vic told his players about his love for Trump, which automatically puts my racist alert senses up. He also said to the team that Trump should build the wall to keep Hispanic people out, even though there are Hispanic people on the team and were in that meeting. So obviously some of this stuff is just him, I think, Kerry Martin Jr. being sensitive. Some of this stuff is warranted. Coach Vic has been suspended while an investigation is going on. He also, Kerry Martin Jr. also talked about a June 20th meeting where he was speaking about the protests, and he said, quote, if people don't want to get tear gas or pushed back by the police, then they shouldn't be out protesting, which again struck a nerve with all the players there. They also kind of confronted him on why he was being silent about racism. He said that he just didn't feel that he needed to make another statement because another coach had already made a statement. So of course, there's an apology that's coming. But this is the thing that I kind of was like, well, maybe this is a say less moment, because Kerry Martin Jr. closed out this long dissertation with, no, Coach Vic is not a bad person, and he does mean well in many different aspects, but his heinous action towards us overrules the good things that he has done, and many of us are uncomfortable with being around him. So I don't know if he's not a bad person, and maybe he's just oblivious like a lot of Americans are. Maybe, I don't know, maybe this could have been handled internally versus making a public tweet, and now he's suspended and there's a whole investigation coming on. But then, in his apology, Coach Vic said, he was sorry. He said exactly what I said. He realizes that his intent does not impact the outcome. He also said, like I said, Coach Brown made a statement about the injustice going on in our society. And he said, I hope my players already know, but I will proudly say it now. There is no place for racism at any time, anywhere, or any place. So, Devin, I'm going to go to you on this one because you kind of like me trying to give the benefit of the doubt to people, which I usually don't do. I will admit that, but I always try to play devil's advocate. This one for me seems like this could have been worked out internally. I don't know if this needed to be a public tweet, because they both say admirable things about each other. So it'd be like if you and I had a beef. I feel like we have a good enough relationship that I could call you to the side and just talk about it. But do you think this needed to be addressed publicly?
I mean, okay, there is so much to unpack here, and I do agree with you that some of the things Kenny was calling out were a little bit like the get upstairs for the meeting thing or whatever that was. Like, that to me wouldn't have rubbed me the wrong way, but I think talking about Hispanic people and not letting them in, and promoting Trump, and, you know, kind of like criticizing the people who go out to these protests. I mean, to me, all of that does seem kind of inappropriate. I do agree that, you know, a lot of these issues can be solved privately and internally. I don't know that everything needs to be published in a public forum and, you know, open for public debate. But I think I'm with you on this one. I don't know that this needed to be blasted all over the internet, but I do think that some of the things Coach Vic was doing and saying, and especially using the R word like that, I mean, those things I think do need to be called out and addressed. And I'm not mad that they've been posted publicly and shared. I just don't know that it was necessarily like, you know, I don't know that it was a necessary thing to do in this particular situation.
Right. I mean, and I don't know much about Coach Vic, so I don't know if his background warranted this public, because if there's anything in his background that kind of has like sprinkles of racism, then I'm all for the public display. But I don't recall ever seeing anything. So I don't know. I'm on the fence with this one. You guys in the chat, let me know what you think. But now I want to get on to my fellow hypochondriacs in the world of sports. So like I said before, for me right now with sports, I feel like if it's a relationship, if it's this hard, it's not supposed to happen. But if it is going to happen, just go forward, full steam ahead. I think the easiest sports to come back would be tennis and golf, personally, because there's already social distancing things perfectly in place for those two sports. But like I said, the PGA Tour apparently is run by a bunch of hypochondriacs because they are losing their minds after a few caddies tested positive for COVID-19. So here's a little funny little stat. The PGA Tour has administered 2,757 tests internally. Of those, only 7 people have tested positive. PGA Tour says, we don't give a damn. We about to implement all these stringent rules now because 7 people, mostly caddies, most of them were asymptomatic in the first place, but it's okay. A few of the golfers have withdrawn after their caddies tested positive. So now here are some of the rules that they have implemented. So first, players who take and arrange chartered flights between events have to get tested for COVID-19 on Saturday before they get on a flight on Monday, and then they have to retest when they make it to the tournament site. I'm gonna have to ask Britt in a second, because if I remember correctly, even if you get tested right then and there, doesn't it take, Britt, you got tested, right? Doesn't it take like 4 days for it to come back anyway? Yeah, so
like 3 days.
Okay, but if you're getting tested at the tournament site and then you go out and play, and then 3 days, I don't understand this rule. Okay, so let me go to this next one. So now people can bring their instructors. Instructors are permitted on the site, on the driving range. They will be subject to the same testing protocols as the players, which means instructors have to get tested on Saturday, retested on Monday, and again on the tournament site. The fitness trailer will be on site starting next week for the Rocket Mortgage Classic with the same protocols in place, but players cannot visit any other local gyms. That one seems fair. And if the tour does provide a stipend to players and caddies who test positive, and they are required to self-isolate, but the players and the caddies must follow the stringent protocols, and there will be serious repercussions. They don't tell us what the serious repercussions are, but there will be serious repercussions if people do not follow these protocols. But there are no number that they can get that would make them cancel the PGA Tour as of right now. So my question is for Chris. Over 2,000, almost 3,000 tests, 7 people end up testing positive. All of them are asymptomatic. Is this a moment?
No, it's not an moment. I think it's just an aware moment. Like, oh, okay, so we are not completely clean. But no, it's not moment at all.
Right. And doesn't golf seems like really easy to practice social, like you don't even have to do 6 feet. You can literally do 20 feet. I don't understand what's going on. And maybe the golfers out there, because my other thing, so if you guys play golf, please let me know, because I don't play golf like that. But my thing is like, okay, if my caddy gets sick, can I just pull my own golf clubs? I mean, is it that hard?
No.
Britt, is that an automatic no? Because I mean, can't you just drive your own car?
Well, the caddy actually is the kind of almost the one with the brains a little bit. They kind of like say, okay, we're going to do this. They help strategize. So they're almost like a ring coach would be. Like they help you a lot in like how you're strategizing for the game. So it's not just maybe they can have a headset in and they can.
That's what I was gonna say. Can he sit somewhere?
Huh?
I just don't think he needs to be right there handing me my little my little thing. He could be on headphones and be like, it slopes to the left.
Yeah. He could be in a totally different cart and then pull up, and then you pull up, and then maybe you guys could walkie to each other what you're gonna do, and he could lay down your club and then you go and pick it up, or he could even tell you, hey, get this club or get this driver or whatever the case. But
this all seems like an easy fix to me, but maybe I'm just oversimplifying the thing. But go ahead with your Panic and Self PGA Tour. I ain't mad at you. Chris, are you ready? How you feeling over there?
I'm ready. I'm good.
Are you ready to be a caddy? Could you be a caddy? Slopes to the left. Use the 9-iron. I don't know if that's right.
I don't know if I can be a driver, a silent driver. I don't know if I can be a caddy because I don't know the game like that. They'd be like, so use a putter, use a driver.
I'll be like, here are your golf clubs. Pick one. I don't know. All right, so here we go. Because it is time for Brit's Takes.
Brit's Takes.
Ooh, that's good.
All right, guys, we got some time today, so just slowly read through this. So we're talking about Drew Brees again because he has kind of put his money where his mouth is, I guess, in a sense. So he is saying, Brittany and I are proud to support Black college football, the road to equality, as the presenting sponsor. An incredible opportunity to recognize the journey and struggles of so many who have truly paved the way for all of us. RSVP at Black College Football Hall of Fame, blah, 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 today. So basically being and sorry if you guys can hear music. My neighbor does music, so it's really loud right now. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Sorry. I'm not trying to set the mood or anything. But being a presenting sponsor means that his family will provide both financial and promotional support for the event. The event is going to be streamed live on July 15th. The event basically celebrates the history of players from HBCUs and will engage in national discussion of social justice. I actually did a story, you guys, if you guys want to go back and check it, about some really big NFL players that went to HBCUs. So if you guys want to check that out, because I'm sure some of them might actually be celebrated during this event. So there's been some, really good NFL players. Shannon Sharp, that you guys all know and love, is one of them that went to HBCUs. So I think you guys should go check out that video before you watch this stream on July 15th. But I was surprised to see that Drew Brees isn't the only one that is a part of this event. Some NFL teams that are actually doing the event as well: the Cleveland Browns, Atlanta Falcons, Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals, Los Angeles Chargers, the Jags, the Cards head coach, not the team, Auburn's head coach, and surprise, surprise, guys, the Robert Kraft Patriots Foundation. That is a huge surprise. I didn't think I was going to see that one on the list. But those are some other NFL groups that are part of it as well. So obviously Drew Brees is doing this because he got major backlash after he said that what Colin Kaepernick did, kneeling for the flag, was disrespecting the flag, and he went on this whole thing about his grandparents, and then everyone's like, hey, my black grandpa fought too, and he didn't get the same freedoms when he returned back to the States. So it's this big old thing. Obviously, since then, he has talked to his teammates and found out different ways that he could help the black community, and this is one of them. Obviously, we've been talking about some future college students that are saying that they might attend HBCUs instead of going the NCAA route. So I do think this is a step. I think it's a positive step. Anytime you're moving forward, even if it's just one step, that means you're moving further away from who you were. That's just how I feel. Chris, though, you are probably the biggest Saints fan that I personally know. Well, I don't know, because I lived in Louisiana, so maybe not. But in California, you're the biggest Saints fan that I know. And I know this really hit you badly because Drew Brees was right there when you first kind of became a Saints fan. and we've talked a lot about, like I said, HBCUs during this time. Do you think this is a positive step for Drew and how you feel to Drew? Like, is this going to help you kind of heal some of that hurt that you felt with what Drew did? I know it's not everything and it's not whatever, but do you think this is a positive move for him?
Yeah, I'll say yes. It is a positive. It is a move in the right direction. And I think that's the best that I could hope for when it comes to Drew Brees right now. I'm still not there yet. I think I'm still in my mindset where it's hard for me to see anything he's doing as not being damage control. But I'm trying to word this the right way. Yes, I do see it as a move in the right direction, because regardless of if it is damage control or not, what he is representing right now, I support that more so than, him trying to, rectify his name and whatnot. So, but I mean, yeah, in my personal feel, yes, it is a move in the right direction. I'm still not there yet to say like, all right, okay, I can kind of root for him. I'm not there yet. I still am ready for James Winston to take over. I'm still not thinking about him as a Saints player in that way like I once did. But it is definitely a move in the right direction, and I'll give him some kudos for that. That's the best way I can answer that.
Jackie, my next question is going to be to you, my dear. I already know how you feel to a sense.
Hey, Chris. There we go.
I'm like, can I still be here though? When I ask
right. There we go.
So obviously, like we've kind of, like we said, we've been talking about HBCUs and how great that is that we're kind of getting more athletes to support that, and let's lean towards that way, because we all know the NCAA is kind of crazy. I'm not going to ask you if you think this was a good move for Drew. What I will ask you is, do you think that his heart is leaning in the right direction, or do you think he 100% just doesn't understand still, or do you think that because he's talked to his teammates and stuff like that, that he's actually learning and he's trying to actually change his heart, not just change your opinion on how you feel about him right now?
That's a good question.
That's an excellent question, because I have been very open with the fact that I have been struggling through this whole thing, because I have not felt, one of the things I've said before time and time again is like, we have been singing the same song, same melody for decades. And now I'm supposed to co-sign on everybody all of a sudden knowing the chorus. I don't buy it. And I hate to say that, but like with the exception of Megan Rapinoe and Sue Bird, anyone who's not, who doesn't look like me, who's jumping on this bandwagon, I haven't really bought it. I'm just being honest. So changing a heart is a long process. It's not something that happens overnight. So I don't know if I feel that Drew is doing this. I understand, to me personally, and if I could be wrong, and I'm going to acknowledge that I could be wrong because I don't know this man, but personally like that. But to me, Drew is very used to being the good guy. He's very used to having that image that everyone in the city can look to him, that he is the leader. He epitomizes the Saints. I've talked several times about his hype, his huddle hypes are my personal life hypes. He's used to being that person. So I personally don't believe that he is not doing this to get back to being that person. I don't think he's doing this to actually say, yo, I see where you guys are coming from. I know some of the things that I've said literally pays more tribute to a song written by a racist and a piece of fabric than it does to the lives of black people. That was completely wrong. I understand that I have to change my mindset on that. He's not said that. So I don't know if this is a change of heart. More is like, look, I really enjoy being the go-to guy. I really enjoy people looking at me in a positive sense, and I need to figure out a way to get back to that. I don't believe this is an actual change of heart.
So you feel like he is just trying to change your heart back to feel a way about him, then he's going to change his heart to feel the way he feels. Got it.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, we are actually going to move on to something very important that we started doing beginning of this week or whatever on the Fumble. So for those of you who don't know, the Fumble Squad is working to raise money for the Equal Justice Initiative. It's an incredible nonprofit organization that provides legal representation to prisoners who may have been wrongfully convicted of crimes, poor prisoners that don't have effective representation, and others who may have been denied a fair trial. We will amplify our voices here at the Fumble to share with you some of the many stories of the wrongfully convicted athletes, activists, and people like, in an effort to shed some light on something that happens in this country, unfortunately, every single day. Some of the stories you might know already, but today I want to share one of these stories that you might not have heard of. So in 1983, a young man named Dwight Duckett, who had just turned 14 years old, was killed in the hallway of his middle school for a jacket. Yes, for a jacket. So Alfred Chestnut, Ransom Watkins, and Andrew Stewart, they were all 16 years old at the time. They had actually ditched high school, their school, and they were hanging out at the middle school in the hallways and visiting with old teachers and kind of hanging out with some friends or whatever there before a security guard escorted them out of the building at 12:45 p.m. The three men were later arrested for the crime, even though the security guard had told the police officers that the boys had left 30 minutes before the crime was actually committed, which was at 1:15. They spent 36 years in prison. Two of them basically gave up hope of ever seeing freedom again, but Alfred Chestnut kept fighting until he found somebody that was willing to take on the case again and review everything and hopefully get the three men exonerated. Their new attorney had uncovered a flawed case from the beginning. The prosecutors now saying they had encouraged false witness testimony after several students were questioned over and over again without parents and without lawyers. The teachers who saw them on campus said that the boys were silly and immature, not threatening, but that was all ignored. They also ignored evidence of another assailant, a man named Michael Willis. Several students actually immediately identified Willis as the actual shooter, and saying that they saw him wearing that stolen jacket later that evening, but the police ignored all of that. Michael was never convicted, and he actually was shot to death in 2002 on another incident. So at the age of 52, all three men finally walked free together. Some people that are exonerated get kind of money for being wrongfully accused for the time that they spent in prison, but that could take years and years. So their lawyer actually opened up something called the after exoneration program to connect exonerees with mental and physical health services, education, housing, and job opportunities. So if you guys want to be more a part of this movement and help, you guys can donate. There is a link on our page somewhere. You can also do a super chat. All that money is going to go to it as well. If you guys want to learn more about what the Equal Justice Initiative does, you can visit their website at eji.org. Again, we will be telling more of these stories throughout the next couple weeks. I'm sad that we have to keep telling these stories because there are too many people that are wrongfully convicted in this country. So if you can help and donate, that would be amazing and very well appreciated.
Thank you so much, Britt. I love that we are highlighting these stories and that we're drawing attention to the Equal Justice Initiative. I feel really proud to work for a company that is willing to talk about these things on air, and I think that we've had some really, really great and enlightening conversations here on the Fumble, and it just makes me feel really grateful to be working with you guys and to be working with this company. I also wanted to shout out, I noticed that we got 2 donations during our show. One was from an anonymous person and the other was from Donnie. So thank you so much for doing that. As a reminder, over the next few weeks, any super chats that you give us, any donations that you give us will go straight to the Equal Justice Initiative. So it's a cool way to get involved while you're also getting your sports news from us, because we are here Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, giving you all the news that you need to know. You guys are wrapping up a little bit early today, but make sure that you come join us again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Subscribe to the Fumble, tap the bell for notifications so you know the second that we're going live and you don't miss a minute of it. Wash your hands, stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Happy birthday, Tamir Rice.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Tamir Rice.
Oh, yeah, we got to do the thing. Guys, ready? You going to do it with me? 1, 2, 3. Ooh, really? One,
Oh,
two,
you and the-
three.
oh.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Yes. Calm down, yes.
Oh my god.